What do you see as needing to be done in the areas that you've been working in recently? What needs to be done in the future in these areas, perhaps in the near future?
I think it would be nice if the psychologists and the sociologists talked to each other. And of course, I've written 2 books now with 3 other guys, 2 of whom overlap with the ones I wrote the emergency intervention book with. And the first of those, the first version of that, was very psychological. It had very little sociological stuff in it. But the most recent one, which just came out a couple of years ago, I got quite a lot of sociological stuff in there. And for my Cooley-Mead address, what I did was to try to do a history of research in altruism and helping behavior, bringing it up from its beginnings in emergency intervention up to the stuff that we're doing now on the relationship of volunteering and other kinds of really sociological kinds of helping behavior, tied in with organizations and so on, in an attempt to draw more of the sociologists into doing this kind of thing. So.
And in that vein, what would you say is the basic takeaway message from your Cooley-Mead address?
That the study of helping and altruism is not just emergency intervention anymore, which I think a lot of people still have stuck in their heads that that's what that is, and that's what psychologists do, and so on. There are lots of sociologists who are studying the impact, the health impact of volunteering. But I would like more sociologists to study the organizational aspects of helping. Now I'm going to show, a senior moment here. I cannot remember at this moment the name of the guy who studied the organizational aspects of blood donation. He's European, and I know it just as well. It's, it will pop into my mind as soon as this interview is over. But there's lots of other really macro kinds of things that people could do to study the ways in which people positively help each other in society. Biologists are also looking into this, and there's a lot of study of the brain and neuropsychological mechanisms and hormonal mechanisms that underpin altruism and helping behavior, and they're finding lots of cool stuff. So it goes, the study now goes all the way from these very microbiological things up to the organizational aspects. And I think that's the way it should be.
I agree. I think one of the, I personally associate the work on emergency intervention as being certainly stimulated in part by that very famous Kitty Genovese incident.
That is exactly.
Which got tremendous national publicity, and you still see an interest in the mass media in those kinds of episodes. Recently there was this case where this man was hit by a bus on a busy street and laid there for 10 or 15 minutes, and they have security cameras that captured all sorts of people walking and driving by without helping. And again, they went through the whole, they had the experts in and the whole thing. So I think that's one of the reasons why there's that perception that that's what altruism is about. But I think you're right.
I was on Oprah on that. Yes, for 15 years ago or something. And it keeps coming. And her interest on that occasion was due to some woman who jumped off a bridge in Detroit because she was somebody was stalking her. And nobody did anything again. So, that was interesting.
We've come a long way.
Yes, we have.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, John.